everybody, I'm Robin, and these are my reflections, and I'm back to show you part two of my Halloween deck collection. As promised, they are coming your way. I did not know this video was going to get so long, so I ended up having to break it into two. If you have not seen part one, definitely check it out. I'll put it right here for you so you can go back, see those, and then come back here and see these. So I will try to make sure that you'll be able to easily find them in between, put the links in the descriptions and all of that. I thought I was going to be able to do it all in one video. It just didn't happen. So here we go. We're going to see the last 14 decks in my Halloween deck collection. First up, let's look at this one. This is the Bohemian Gothic Tarot. This is a tarot deck that I picked up when they first re-released it, and I have not really given it much use, which is unfortunate in my opinion. I really want to use this more. So I have started a deck sort of like deep dive of this. I've got the book out and I've started reading through the book. And I am going to be doing that all of September and October. I'm going to try to get through the whole book and just kind of get to know these cards a little bit. I really do think that that's going to help me kind of just, I don't know, appreciate the deck more, if nothing else. And hopefully, because I'll be reading from the book, it'll make me pick it up and use it more. I have it here in my collection, but I don't want to keep, a deck that I'm not using just to have it if I don't like it, but I can't decide if I like it if I don't use it. So I need to do that. And I think what I've done this year by pulling out that book and actually opening it up and starting to read it, because I pull it out every year and I don't read it. So actually opening up and starting to read it, I'm starting to appreciate it more, because the artist, she I think her, what is her name? Karen Mahoney and Alex Uklov. Well, Karen Mahoney wrote the book, and she has a lot to say, about these cards and about the artwork that she used to collage in here. And it's interesting, and it's making the cards come alive a little bit. So again, this is the Bohemian Gothic. It's the one with these backs. I do not like the backs, but what can you do? And it does have the what is it called? The foiling on it, which does make it kind of difficult to see if I'm not looking at it in light. I have to turn on the lights. Otherwise, it looks a little pale because some of the details disappear. But in the lights, it's really beautiful. And so it's growing on me. It's growing on me. And that's the Bohemian Gothic. One thing I will say I love about this is this bag I got to go with it, with this crow on it. And it's like, nevermore. Well, it's a raven. I love this bag. I wish I would have bought them in all the colors. Unfinished Business is another deck that I have out. I don't know if this will, it's ghosts, so I brought it out for Halloween, but I'm not sure if this is going to be something that I'm just going to lean into during Halloween season, or if it'll get used during the season at all. I'm very uncertain about this. But because it's ghost, it's out for Halloween. And this one is a deck of people who died, and the guidebook talks about all the various ways that they've died. I think, did I do a walkthrough of this? I think I did. I can't remember. If I did, I'll put it down below in the description, because I'm going to put walkthroughs for anything I have and the links, pick them up all down there. But it's very beautifully illustrated by MJ Cullinane. All of these beings that have passed away in all of the different ways that they died, and a lot of them died in ways that were kind of, harsh. And so they have unfinished business, either unexpected or harsh. Some of it is just unexpected. Some of it is really rough, their death. So, but it's a beautiful deck. And even though, when I was doing the deep dive of it, I found some of the stories to be a little bit unbelievable. Let's put it like that. I still really love the illustrations, and the cards are easy to read with, and they're beautiful. So I'm looking forward to using this year. I just don't know if I'll get to it during Halloween, but it's definitely going to get used this winter. I pulled this out because it's ghosts. So yeah, I think it does fit in a Halloween deck collection, and I wanted to try to use it during this season. If not, I will definitely be using this in the winter time, because this is a very wintry deck to me. So this is the Unfinished Business, and those are the backs. Another deck that I have pulled out and have already started to use this season is the Jack-O-Lantern Tarot. I I've had this deck for a little bit and I never really used it. And I really wanted to, I promised myself that this year I was going to use it. It's an RWS style deck from Los Garabeo that is beautifully rendered, but a little bit busy for my eyes. I do wear glasses. I don't know, maybe just the way my eyes are set up, it's hard for me to see this. And so I struggle to read with it because I have to stop and really like zoom in with my, I have to really like look and like, what am I looking at again? And try to separate all of it. It's so busy. But I think it's worth it to slow down, to have a deck that forces me to slow down and kind of look into it because there is a lot of really good symbolism in these cards. It's important to me to have decks that kind of bring something to my practice. And this one is bringing kind of a vibe of slow down and look into the cards. And it's reminding me to do that. And I like that about using this one. It is very strange and very weird, but very Halloween because it's all these jack-o'-lanterns everywhere, um, and beautifully illustrated. The artist has done a wonderful job. If you like this artwork, but you're not really feeling these cards, the artist also has a deck called the Pre-Raphaelite Tarot that is also equally as beautiful. I've seen it. I don't have it, but I've seen it, and it looks very similar, but without. It's not as weird. It's not as strange. So this is the Jack O' Lantern Tarot. These are the backs. Another beloved deck from this one won't even close, from the Los Garabeo Tuck Box collection. It's the Tarot of Haunted House. This has been out forever, so I know people know this one. This is so great. I love this deck. I use it. I've been keeping it in my fall, like winter collection, so I'm not really using it so much in the summer or spring anymore. But I like to use this deck to do love readings. So anytime I'm doing a love reading, that someone cannot see the cards and it feels like a reading that is like maybe has like a little bit of boundary issues, or they need to be doing a little bit more self-love, or they need to be discovering something, or something seems nefarious or dark, I'll pull this deck out. I know it really well. It reads very well. It's beautiful for me to look at. And also, I just like the stories that come along with the cards. I feel like they bring something different to the table a little bit. If you don't know this deck, it is a deck of a girl. I think her name is Sasha. No, Sasha is the name of the artist. I mean, the author. Raven. So the girl's name is Raven. Here she is. Here's Raven, and she inherits a home that is full of all this like supernatural activity. So you've got some witches in there, there's some vampires, there's angels, and also a suit of demons. And she is just discovering the home. She's moved in and she's discovering it and all of the things happening and trying to get control of her emotions, trying to get control of the activity in the house, and just kind of find her way as she is living in this new home of hers that's part of her home. You can think of it as being like maybe her internal structure that she's looking around in her psyche, for instance, right? And it's based on, Sasha Graham says that she based a lot of these cards on like old horror movies from like the 70s and 80s that she loves. It's beautifully rendered by Mirko, what is his name? Pierre Federici. I'm not sure if I said that correctly. It's beautifully rendered by the artist, and it's just well done. And it's been out for a while. I think a lot of people probably already know this deck. It's definitely one of my favorites, especially this time of year. And these are the backs. And again, this is Tarot of Haunted House. There are no articles. I go through trying to find the name of this deck. I'm like, is it the Tarot of Haunted House? Is it Tarot of the Haunted House? Is it Haunted House Tarot? No, it is just Tarot of Haunted House. This is the Poe Tarot by Trisha Lee Shufelt. Also something I like to pull out and have around this time of year and decorate my shelf with this beautiful box. It is based on the writings and of Edgar Allan Poe with Trisha Schufelt's artwork. It is a fantastic, fantastic deck. So smart, so well done, so well researched. The guidebook leaves a little to be desired. There could be more in this guidebook. Some of it is great. it'll say in this image, this is what we see, this is why we see it. It gives you the quote that's on the card, tells you some keywords, and some of it just says things like, sometimes you just need to let go. So yeah, I don't know, it's not as consistent as I would like it to be, but it's good enough. You know what I mean? Like, it does what it needs to do for me. I don't really need much more. Sometimes I go through, and if I feel so inclined, I'll look up the piece. Like, I'll look up, like, this will tell you in the book, it'll tell you where it comes from, like which piece of work it comes from, and I will look it up, or I will look up like the cliff notes on it or something and read about it, and just to take time to go through it, because it's just so smartly done, and I'm a nerd. So it's well done. Okay, so we have the Ten of Wells, which is the Ten of Cups, the Star, the King of Pentacles, the Queen of Swords, the Nine of Swords, the Page of, no, the Nine of Cups, the Page of Cups, the Two of Pentacles, Judgment. So you can see in the imagery that it's good. We have the Eight of Cups, Temperance, Emperor. Of course, we have Edgar Allan Poe with all of his ravens there. So the imagery is nice. And then on top of that, you have these wonderful quotes from his works down below, that bring kind of a little bit more to the table. So for instance, let's just read one. This is the Ace of Candles. It says, deep into that darkness, peering. Long I stood there, wondering, fearing, doubting, dreaming dreams no mortal ever dared to dream before, for the Ace of Wands. So we're at the beginning, right? We're starting to dream. Seven of Wells here. This is the Seven of Cups. And you can see in the image, it's the Seven of Cups. And then it says down here, and have I not told you that what you mistake for madness is but over acuteness of the sense? So thinking too much, you're doing too much, right? Like, you're not mad, you're doing too much, you're thinking too much into it. Just choose something. So I think that this is really, really beautiful. And it's thought provoking. It's a very airy deck, right? And I'm an air sign through and through, so I love it. And this is something that I like to have out and at hand this time of year. This is the Poe Tarot by Trisha Lee Shufelt. The Horror Tarot. I like this deck so much, y'all. I like this deck so much. I love this deck for any kind of political reading that I'm doing, and it is just so good. It's so good. It's literally a deck of political commentary based on how horror movies are a commentary on life and the politics and government and just the way the world works and what will happen if we don't change things. Right? Horror movies happen when either you do something against nature, or you don't lean into change, or you don't accept, when someone is telling you that you're doing something wrong and you continue to do it, then these things break out, right? And so I think that, this deck is fantastic for political readings. But that aside, it's just a good deck. It's well done. It has keywords on most of the cards. So, well, phrases that kind of lead you to what the card means on most of the cards. I think the cups are the only ones that don't have any keywords. Um, Actually, this one does, because it says the Page of Cups, a symbol of curiosity and intuition. The Nine of Pentacles in the lap of luxury, the Suit of Swords, and then you've got meditation, relaxation, exhaustion for the Four of Swords. The Chariot, the warrior drives at night under a crescent moon, no hands on the wheel. He steers by force and will. Nothing can stop him. And, there's a lot mixed in there. It's beautiful. These are the backs, kind of fun and funky. And even though the cardstock is not my favorite, this is the kind of cardstock that does the rocky thing. This is like my least favorite of the cardstocks that you can get on decks. It rocks and it spins around on my table, but I excuse it because I like the stack so much and I use it a lot. I use it a lot. It's really good. The guidebook, if you have the deck and you haven't read this guidebook, definitely read the guidebook. I highly recommend it. He always takes the time to really write what you need to read in there, and it's not a lot. He doesn't waste your time, but what's in there is worth reading. So definitely read the guidebook if you haven't and you have not already read the guidebook. It takes you on like a journey of the world building of the deck and is fantastically done. I do plan to get the sci-fi one at some point, but I have the pulp and this one, and I love them both, and I use them a lot. So I'm just waiting. But I think that the only thing that I would like to see more of is diversity in his decks. I did talk to him about it, and we had a pretty candid conversation about it. And I think that, I understand where he's coming from, because he says that, finding the images from the type of work that he does, he's bringing images from like the 40s, the 50s, the 60s, and the images then for with people of color were just disrespectful for the most part, and he doesn't want to put that on his cards, and I understand that. I completely understand that. I just want more, like I want more. I feel like it's got to be something out there, or maybe we can recreate something, you know what I mean? So that's me. But I will continue to use these because they're so well done and I love them. And they're not the only decks in my collection that I wish had more diversity. That's for sure. So this deck is fantastic. You would think it would be something I would keep only for Halloween, but it is not the case. I have a full walkthrough of this if you want to see it. It is so good. So, so good. Not the walkthrough, the deck. The deck is really good. So that is the Horror Tarot. This is the Wandering Spirit Tarot. It's skeletons. Skeletons definitely need to come out during Halloween, right? So this is out at the moment. It is a deck of people of a girl and her darkness, basically. So the skeleton is like her soul or her dark side, and the skeleton represents her dark side. And I like this deck. It took me a while to come around to it, but I get it. I get it, and I like it. The guidebook doesn't really help too much as far as the deep meaning of the what you see, but you can find it if you stick with it. You know what I mean? Like if you just look into it. And this is another one of those decks that, like I said, looking for things that I can look a little deeper into right now, especially like something I like to lean into this time of year. And so yeah, so I have this one out at the moment, and it has the gold, which is really cool. I'm not sure if this deck is still in print in this iteration, but I saw on Kickstarter that there is definitely a silver edition of this coming out very, very soon. So um yeah, I think that it's coming. It's coming back. And I will put the link to the creator's website down below if you're interested. Try not to show too many of the boobies, but yeah, that's that one. This is one of my favorite little pairings for morning motivation during the Halloween season. This is the Lights in Dark Places Oracle here in the middle. And this is the Tarot of the Enchanted Garden on either side. And I just like these decks together. I think that they are fun and light energy, especially for the morning. It's still keeping me in that sort of Halloween vibe, but in that gothic look, but it's lighthearted energy. So the messages on here are just about like just trying your best and being the best that you can be, even if you aren't feeling your best. And I like to pull these out this time of year when the time change happens here in the US. It's difficult for me, so I like to use these decks to kind of meet me where I am, basically, where I usually am this time of year, and they would just make me feel a little bit better in the morning, when I'm waking up in the dark and I'm walking in the house in the dark and there's just no sunlight to be had, you know what I mean? Because they're sort of fuzzy and pastel-y, they don't, I don't know, they just feel lighter to me, the tarot cards. I like these together. You may think your light is small, but it can make a big difference in others' lives. Light and dark places, and it's perfect for, what I'm usually feeling when the sun goes away. It doesn't go away, but it feels like it does. This is the Dia de los Muertos Oracle. Obviously, it's made for this time of year by Kelly Sullivan Walden. Look at those backs. Very, 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 very Halloweeny, right? Or Dia de los Muertos, the sugar skulls. Okay, so all of the cards have this beautiful frame. of marigolds around them that feels so representative of, spirits talk and ancestral veneration and just this Mexican cultural tradition, and I just think it feels good. It feels like her intention for making the deck was good, and I feel good when I use this deck. So this deck is for grief work, and it is for speaking with departed loved ones, and because it's Dia de los Muertos. So I'll just show you some of this guidebook. I'm not going to read it, but you can take a screenshot if you would like to read it for yourself. Let me just show you how it breaks down. So you get what's on the card, and then you get a sort of quote, and then a message from the departed. And then the meaning section tells you why we've chosen that being or that object or whatever's on the card and what it means for the cultural representation of Dia de los Muertos. And then there's a mantra. Beautiful guidebook, beautiful deck. Love this one for this time of year. I promise you, I have a hard time putting it away. So even though I meant to use it in September and October, I usually keep this out even through Christmas because it just feels so good to use it. So this is the Dia de los Muertos Oracle. A new one in my collection that I'm kind of a little bit smitten with is the Lady Sterling's Wicked Garden Oracle. This is the new one from Hope Hughes and Matt Hughes, the Ethereal Visions team. It's new. Okay, it's new. But I'm pretty sure this is going to be like, one of my Halloween style decks because it's kind of creepy. It's all poison and and death and, mayhem. So like but I do love it. It's very beautiful. I just can't see myself using it much outside of this time of year. So just like the one I showed in the last video, the Mother Mort's Carnival of Soul, it's dark. It's dark in its theme, but the imagery on this one is a lot lighter than the Carnival of Soul. I mean, we have this death cap here that looks a little kind of scary, but for the most part, the people in the deck don't look that scary. Um, so yeah, I like this one and I'm excited to use it but I'm just not sure. I think this will be part of my Halloween collection. I don't think that I'll be using it outside of this time of year. But this time of year is going to be great and I have been using it and I've been journaling. So the guidebook here it tells you the everything that's going on in the card and with the character and then what you can take from that. And then it gives you a lot of questions to ask yourself. So you can take a screenshot of that and I'll show you one more and read for yourself kind of what happens here. But it's really great for journaling. I think that this would be great for like nighttime journaling, reflection, stuff like that. But for me, because it's a little creepy, I can't do it. I can't do it at night. I'm scary. So I do one on the weekend. So I've been pulling one on the weekend and journaling and just thinking and reflecting and doing a little bit of that kind of work with it. And I've been enjoying that. So I will continue that on through this season. So this is, again, the Lady Sterling's Wicked Garden Oracle. So I have two Oracle decks here that I've added to my table that I'm going to be keeping out. These are not specifically Halloween season decks. They're not like ghosts or goblins or anything like that, but they feel right for this time of year and they feel like they match up with a lot of the decks that I'm using this time of year. So I'm going to be keeping these out. So I wanted to show these. So this is the Vast Enlightenment card. I'll show you the guidebook so you can take a screenshot and see the keywords are here and then there's a little bit of explanation up there. But I just think these keywords are really great for this time of year. Just some of the darker themes that come up. So we've got guard, control, gathering, intuition, loss, miracle, positive, pathfinding, constraint, flexibility, rapid, adaptation, childhood, bigotry. So recently I have used these along with the Tarot of Vampires to do some political readings, and they have worked like a charm because I didn't want anything that was going to whitewash anything. I wanted to stay in the seriousness of what I was reading about, and I feel like this works for that. There's only 36 cards, so there's no wiggle room here. here. There's nothing that, like, it is what it is. I'm pulling one card and I'm going with that. You know, meditation, enjoyment, strength, mercy, security. There's like guard, there's control, we have wisdom, accompany, there's even celebration. So it's a mix. It's not all dark, but it doesn't whitewash, which I like about this deck. And so, because of that, I've been using this one with the Tarot of Vampires for that purpose. And I think that this deck also goes really well with the Tarot Z, and other things that I'm using this time of year. The Tarot of the Tarot and Tarot Deet Vampiria, it goes well with that. So it's good to have out this time of year. So this is the Vast Enlightenment card. Okay, so another deck that I have out right now that I feel can help. It's good for um, adding on to readings, but because of the coloring on it, it works well with a lot of the other kind of darker decks that I have out right now. It's not a dark deck. It doesn't lean dark at all. It reads like a Lenormand. So it has a very good like mix of things. Chrysanthemum, incense, sakura. So it's basically, what do you see in that? And then the guidebook, of course, has what the author meant by it, but then you can bring your own interpretations to it. Like when I see a lock, what do I think when I see lock? And then of course you can look in the guidebook to see what the author, what his, their name is Logan Townsend. So you can see what Logan, you know, had to say about that as well when they created it. Why did they put a lock in the deck? But also you can bring your own knowledge and thoughts to it and your own interpretations. And I like that about it. It's very open. Um, and it's easy to read with. I can use this to clarify and lay down with Tarot of the Enchanted Garden, Tarot Pop Culture. I used it with the what's it called, the Jack-o'-lantern tarot, and it worked well. So it's just good to have out, and because it has the black background, it feels gothic enough. It's not meant to be gothic, but because of the black background. Now you can buy this if you don't like it in black. They have this in pink as well, so this is also an option. But this is the Black Salt Tarot. Those are the backs. I don't know why they're upright, but those are the backs. And last but certainly not least, this is Tarot of the Little Souls, a Marseille Revisite, which I have seen this title on a lot of Marseille decks lately coming out of France. And I think it just means like a redrawn Marseille. That's what it seems to me, because I have two decks now that have this label on it. And they've all just been redrawn Marseilles with a little bit more of zhuzh on the pips, you know? So this one is the same. I'll just show you the guidebook. It is in French, but if you want to translate it, you can kind of see how it reads. It doesn't give too much about what's in the imagery. I think it does a little bit for the majors and stuff, but it doesn't lean into the theme, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Like, so it'll say like what you're seeing, and then it'll give you the meaning of the Empress and how it applies to life, but it doesn't lean into like why we have a little soul here, you know, talking to her, or it doesn't give you theme, which I feel like was a missed opportunity, because the theme of this deck is so cute. So basically what you have here are these souls that follow the characters around, and kind of are part of their like the other side, watching them or helping them or whatever. I think that the souls look like mummies because of the way that they've been drawn. Let me just show you some more of them. So, I mean, that's why it's in my Halloween deck collection. We've got mummy soul things, you know, like mummy ghosts, and they feel Halloween to me. So that's why it's in the Halloween deck collection. But I think that this is really cutesy, and I like it. I bought this years ago, and I just opened it. I don't know what took me so long. I really love the way they've redrawn a lot of the pips, because they still kind of give, like, if you think about the Two of Cups in the Marseille deck, one of um the biggest like pieces of symbolism on the card are the fish, right, that are kind of jumping into the cups and touching or whatever. But they kind of give like a vibe of that here, even though it doesn't look like the Two of Cups from the Marseille. You still get that vibe, that look of it, or that feel of those symbols, right? So I kind of like that. Here's the 10 of coins. It's a great Wheel of Fortune too. They're playing roulette. The Death card and the Mask. The King of Cups. It's like he has control of the tap that's filling the cups. I love that. This is the Emperor. It's almost like the ghost ship, you know, and the pirate. I don't know. I like this. It feels almost pop culture, but it's not. This one feels like I'm looking at like a griot or something. Um, but I don't know. I mean, it feels almost pop culture, but because the guidebook doesn't explain any of that, I kind of just make up my own stuff, you know. Let me see if I can find that lovers that I was looking for. Oh, here it is. I love how they're like watching them through the window, like they're watching all this unfold. I'm like, are y'all gonna get involved? Like, what are y'all gonna do? It just reminds me of like being on the street in New York with people looking out the window and commenting on stuff going down there that's none of their business, you know? Um, I also really love the different backgrounds. So all of them are, all of the swords cards have this same background with this same border, and the cups look like that. And let me see, the wands have the yellow kind of look to them. And here we go, the coins. So you can kind of see the different borders, and it makes it really easy to pick them out. I'll just show you them laid out. But I really love pip decks, and I especially love pip decks where the pips um, are beautiful, where they're cool looking or fun or a little bit different. And so, you know, I'm so glad I picked this one up. Whenever I order from Amazon France, I always kind of search up just tarot just to see what else they have around so that I can get it all at once, you know, and I really enjoy this. So, oh, look, they're all together here. So you can kind of see, I can see that the coins are here and here. I can see all of these are wands. That's a cup. You know what I mean? Like, so I can kind of see them together. And it makes it really easy to see what I'm looking at. I like this. I like this. I like working with it. It's fun. I like thinking about why things are the way they are because it doesn't say in the guidebook really. So, because I translated a few of the entries in the guidebook and it doesn't say. So I've just been making up my own little stories. And I've been having fun with that. So that is this one, Tarot of the Little Souls. And that is the last deck that I wanted to show you guys. So that's it. Those are all of the decks. Thank you for being here and sticking around. If you want to see that first video that I did, I will definitely make sure that that is in the description box below right at the top if you're interested in seeing the rest of the decks in this collection. So thank you to you all for being here. I cannot wait to hear what you think about the decks and what you're using this Halloween. Let me know all of the things in the comments below. If you want to pick anything up you saw here today, those links will be down below, along with links to any walkthroughs that I have. Those will be down there right beside the links to, you know, purchase if you're interested in seeing the walkthroughs before you purchase. So if you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, hype the video. That helps it get out there as well. Really appreciating the hypes, guys, lately. Thank you so much for doing that. It's really been helping the videos get seen. If you want to see more from me, you can subscribe. I release videos every few days regarding tarot and oracle, and I would love to have you. And until I see you next time, stay safe, be blessed, and happy Halloween.